Good morning, and welcome to your Stylo News Intelligence Update for April 6, 2026. Today, we're turning our focus to the Korean Peninsula.
This intelligence update is brought to you by ProWave AI, the developers behind Stylo News, delivering AI-powered open-source intelligence right when you need it.
So, here's the bottom line. Our assessment shows that while a major, immediate attack seems unlikely, North Korea is definitely evolving into a more complex and, well, a more persistent long-term threat.
All right, let's dive right in. First up, we'll take a look at the threat right there on the peninsula.
It all really boils down to this one question, doesn't it? Will North Korea attack South Korea? This is, of course, the central issue for stability in the region, and the indicators we're seeing, they give us a pretty clear, though nuanced, answer. Now, looking at this map of key military sites, what's really fascinating is not what's happening, but what isn't. We're seeing a distinct lack of the unusual activity you'd expect to see, the kind of movements that would signal a major attack is on the way.
And this really breaks it down for us. On one side, you have the US and the Republic of Korea running their Freedom Shield exercises. Their focus is clearly on deterrence and defense. But on the other side, and this is the crucial part, we're seeing an absence of corresponding indicators from North Korea. There's no unusual artillery movement near the DMZ, no big naval deployments, no reserve call-ups. The pieces for an invasion just aren't being moved into place.
So if they're not gearing up for an immediate attack, what are they doing? Well, this lack of direct aggression seems to point toward a different strategy altogether. It looks like North Korea's efforts are less about a direct conflict right now and much more about building up its strategic partnerships.
And things have been moving fast. This timeline from just last month really shows how quickly this anti-Western bloc is coming together. On March 18th, we had reports of about 20,000 North Korean troops deploying to support Russia in Ukraine. Then, just over a week later, on the 26th, Belarusian President Lukashenko makes his first ever official visit to Pyongyang. And the very next day, they sign a formal friendship and cooperation agreement. It's a rapid sequence of events, all centered on this idea of mutual support.
When you look at the perspectives of the key players, you see a pattern of interests that fit together almost perfectly. For Kim Jong-un, it's all about ensuring his regime's security. He's using his nuclear status and these new alliances to do just that. For Russia, North Korea is a key strategic partner against the West and, of course, a source of much-needed military support for the conflict in Ukraine. Now, for the US and its allies, this whole situation is concerning. It challenges global non-proliferation efforts and really complicates the diplomatic playbook.
Now, this growing alliance isn't happening in a vacuum. It's the backdrop for our next key area of focus, the significant technological leaps North Korea is making in its military hardware.
We're seeing modernization across the board, and these three developments are particularly important. First, a new missile submarine has reportedly entered service. That's a huge deal because it enhances what's called a survivable second strike capability, meaning they could retaliate even if hit first. Second, they've successfully tested advanced solid-fuel engines. This cuts down the warning time for launching ICBMs significantly. And third, they've shown off a new tank with better mobility and systems to counter drones. You put these three things together, and it's not just a few upgrades, it's a comprehensive strategic overhaul.
And we don't have to guess at the intention here. Kim Jong-un himself said it quite directly after that solid fuel engine test. He said the test's importance is in elevating the country's strategic military power to the highest level. The goal is crystal clear.
Okay, so with all that in mind, the alliances, the new tech, what should we be watching for in the coming months? There are several key indicators.
First, we'll be watching for more testing of those solid-fuel ICBMs, maybe even systems with multiple warheads. We'll also be looking to see how that new friendship agreement with Belarus actually gets put into practice. Of course, we'll continue to monitor military support for Russia from both North Korea and Belarus. And finally, keep an eye out for October of this year. That's when North Korea plans to launch its third Joyhein-class destroyer. Each of these events will tell us a lot about where things are headed.
And all of this leaves us with a critical question for the future, not just for the peninsula, but for the entire world. As North Korea's capabilities grow and these new alliances harden, how is that going to shift the strategic balance of power?
It's a big question. And to explore it and all the intelligence behind it in much greater detail, you can listen to our full-length analysis. It's available on your favorite podcast channel, or you can just follow the link in this post. Thank you for joining us for this update. To stay informed with AI-powered news on demand, you can subscribe to Stylo News at stylonews.com.